Riedeke. Before we get started, let me tell you about Riedeke. If you are listening to this before Hanukkah 2015, you're in luck because you still have time to participate in Riedeke, the Association of Jewish Libraries' first ever Jewish Reading Challenge. It's easy. Just read any Jewish book of your choice and review it online during Hanukkah, December 6th through 14th, 2015. Be sure to include the hashtag Riedeke in your review to make it easy for others to find you. That's pound READUKKAH. Put your review anywhere on the internet. A blog, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Goodreads, Amazon, even in the comments here at bookoflifepodcast.com. The point of this challenge is to spread the word about great Jewish titles, which may lead to more people buying these books and borrowing them from libraries, which will lead to more demand for Jewish books in the market and more Jewish books being published. See what a mitzvah you can do just by participating in Riedeke? You can actively support a genre you love. Anyone can participate, including kids, and you get to define whether your book counts as Jewish. I know we've had that discussion on the podcast before about what makes a book Jewish. If you think your book isn't obviously Jewish, explain your reasoning in your review. It'll be interesting for us to hear what you think. Once you've posted your review, be sure to share the URL with AJL, Association of Jewish Libraries, the host of this challenge, at jewishlibraries.org/blog.php. Oh, I almost forgot. There's also a giveaway for copies of a new teen novel, Firebrand, by Aaron Barnhart. It's exciting historical fiction about August Bondy, a Jewish freedom fighter during America's Civil War. Sign up for Riedeke at the Association of Jewish Libraries blog. Go to jewishlibraries.org and sign up to be entered in the drawing for copies of Firebrand. Winners will be chosen over Thanksgiving weekend, so you can get the book in time to review it for Riedeke if you want to. And now, on with the show. This is the Book of Life. I'm Heidi Estrin. I was walking through the exhibit hall at the 2015 Association of Jewish Libraries conference when Rabbi Goldie Milgrim stopped me and said, "Pick a card, any card." This led to a conversation so interesting that I had to record it. And I bought a deck of cards, too.
Pick a card. Let's see what's in the cards for you today, Heidi.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, this card says, "Hold no grudges and take no revenge. Address loss and anger carefully without taking revenge or multiplying wrongs." And that's from Leviticus 19:18. So tell me about this. What is this card I just picked?
When I was working right after Perestroika was created in Russia and Ukraine, I was sent by the organization Project Kesher. People kept asking me, what does it mean to be Jewish? And my translator would say to me, here, on this little slip of paper, I'm writing the thing you said that touched people the most, that mattered. And gradually the pile got bigger. And what I realized she was giving me were when I would express a principle for meaningful Jewish living. Something like, for example, Hachnasat Archim, welcome guest, host often in your home and out in the world as though all the people you contact in the market, in the school, on a bus is your honored guest. It's the opposite of consumer consciousness. It's how a Jew is meant to live in the world. And today, many of us, we may not be looking for how to be religious, but we're looking for what does it mean to be Jewish. And each of these practices that are drawn from the depth of the tradition, we are trying to express in these cards. A woman came up to me, she saw the little cards, and she said, "I'm going to give you money to make them beautiful." And that's how the Mitzvah Cards look so beautiful in their depth. And the cover of Mitzvah Stories and New Mitzvah Stories, we realized we needed stories that would reflect contemporary Jewish families. Let's say you had a child you adopted from Guadalajara, and she's about to have her bat mitzvah. Where would you find a story where she would see herself in the Jewish story? Or let's say an elder who's in a wheelchair. Where would they see themselves in a story? Or let's say your family's made out of all kinds of people. Where would they see themselves in a Jewish story? So we created an international jury, a competition for new mitzvah stories.
So the cards came first and then the book grew out of that?
Yes. The cards started from this teaching, and then we realized that we needed contemporary stories to go with it. Everything we do, our whole publishing house, including me, we are all 100% retired professionals who are volunteers. We have over 200 volunteers that create these resources. People like Ellen Frankel, who used to head Jewish Publication Society, and Arthur Kurzweil, who was the bookfinder for Jossie Bass, and professional storytellers and authors who donate these stories because they want a contemporary, vivid Jewish lives for all of us that we really will be proud of and love.
The cards are a deck of how many?
A deck of cards is 52 because you can't make an affordable deck if you don't do them 52, because those are how the presses are set up.
Right.
They actually give you 53 because they give you a card to explain things. And there are 56 mitzvahs, or I call them Jewish spiritual practices on them, because these aren't language through you should, you ought, you must. This is the language of empowerment. It's called Torat Imecha, the Torah of your mother, the way you would nurture yourself in a spiritual way, where your heart goes, I want to do that. Many people don't realize, for example, that one of the mitzvahs is to be an active citizen. It's in Aramaic, Dina de Malchuta Dina. Cultivate a healthier society by adding your vision, voice, views, values, vote, concerns to the land where you live. That's one of the cards. Another is Lo titen mikshol, create no obstacles. Resist setting up environments in situations in ways that trip others literally or ethically. Notice that trip others literally or ethically. Because there's 52, you can put them next to your Shabbos candles and turn one over every Friday night for a family discussion, story sharing. People have been giving these in the books. They'll put the cards out for party favors at a bar or bat mitzvah. How much more meaningful is that? Librarians put them in a bowl on their desk, and when someone comes up, they say, pick a card. Creates a reason for encounter, and then you could say, would you like to see a book? In my hand I have, guard your health. Take good physical care of your body, the precious instrument upon which your soul plays life. Right? When you talk to someone about how their body is their Stradivarius, that may not be a way they saw their Jewishness before, and their obligation to not destroy it and wear it out, but to really love it and make it a healthy instrument for life. And so people will sort these by the mitzvahs they love, by the ones they're not ready for, and by the ones where they want to learn more. And if you're a librarian or an educator, a camp counselor, or a Hillel director, and somebody takes a stack of these and they say, these are the ones I want to learn more about, they're putting their Jewish journey, their future in your hands. They're saying, here's where my heart is open. And you can run with that. And that's why we created a book called Seeking and Soaring that has essays by the leading innovators of how to guide a Jewish life on its journey. Most of us know how to give over information. I've been working very hard with many others to convene the knowledge of how to be a Magid educator. The ancient Jewish storytellers used their stories to guide the journey of a person, to help them whether they were suffering or seeking or celebrating, to have the right story for the right moment of life, but also to know how to listen very deeply and meet someone where they are non-judgmentally, and to be able to guide the people we encounter in a healthy and holy way. And that's what all the resources at Reclaiming Judaism, where it's at our nonprofit, are about. We also have a training program. It's 2 to 3:30 on Zoom. It's a video conference live tool with Penina Schramm and Danny Siegel and myself. And we have a faculty of 7 leading educators who are trained in how to teach you, how to guide Jewish souls on their journey. And at the end of 3 years of training, there's 1 week of retreat each year, also where we're all together and get to really see each other. You become an ordained Maggid educator. And we had the chutzpah to reclaim an ancient ordination. Our teacher, Rabbi Zalman Schachter Shlomi, wanted us to reclaim an ancient ordination because of the feeling that the Jewish soul fled into the intellect from the Holocaust. We fled from feeling, from embodiment, went to the safety of our smarts. But the fullness of Jewish life is in a healthy mind, body, and soul. And so this will help educators to move from making our lives about preserving Judaism to Judaism being about supporting the journey called life, which is what it was designed for and was always meant to be.
I like how you just mentioned healthy approaches. One of the cards that I was looking at said about honoring your parents, it said honor healthy requests. And I thought that was a really important, thoughtful way to put it, because sometimes people might ask you to do things and, you know, if it's your parents, you want to accommodate them, but it may not be the right thing to do. So that was a really thoughtful way to describe the relationship. So I can see you've put a lot of thought into the writing of these very short little snippets of text.
Yes, you know, I used to teach a workshop, sometimes I still do, called Healing from the Wounds of Growing Up Jewish. One of the obstacles to really getting the richness from the tradition is where something felt like it hurt our soul rather than touched our soul. I was teaching in Germany, and a woman came up and talked about how her mother could not accept this professor of Jewish studies. The professor happened to have a lifestyle choice that her mother could not accept. I think she was with a non-Jewish partner, and her mother would abuse her every time she saw her. She said, "My mother's old, she's frail, and when I'm near her, she really lashes out at me constantly." She said, "Am I required to go to see her? Must I?" And explained that in Jewish tradition, it says, as long as you make sure that she's well cared for, you can hire someone to take care of her, because you first have to put on your own seatbelt. You know, the oxygen that you need to live. And so each of these is a nuanced practice that takes thought to realize it, make it true. But if someone's asking you to do unhealthy things, your soul comes first.
Well, this is wonderful. Rabbi Goldie Milgrim, thank you so much.
Thank you. And our website, may I?
Yes.
Is reclaimingjudaism.org. Thank you.
If you enjoy the Book of Life podcast, please become a patron at patreon.com/bookoflife. Leave a review on iTunes or a comment on our blog at bookoflifepodcast.com. You can also like our page at facebook.com/bookoflifepodcast. Follow us at twitter.com/bookoflifepod. Email us at bookoflifepodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 561-206-2473. The Book of Life is a podcast service of the Feldman Library at Congregation B'nai Israel in Boca Raton, Florida at cbiboca.org and is supported in part by the Association of Jewish Libraries at jewishlibraries.org. Our background music is provided by the Freilach Makers Klezmer String Band. Thanks for listening and happy reading.